What does it take for a company to reach its centennial in America? To be able to survive 2 world wars, a depression, and a dozen or so recessions, catastrophes, natural and man-made, societal shifts, and technological disruptions, all in the most tightly regulated and highly competitive marketplaces on the planet. With Zurich, it happened like this. 100 years ago, an innovative Swiss insurer took an intelligent risk. It ventured beyond the security of its mature European market to pursue a share of the most vibrant marketplace in the world. An exceptionally valuable territory is how August Tobler sized up the U.S. market for his colleagues in Switzerland. Progressive-era workers' compensation legislation was sweeping the Midwest, but the uncertain legal and regulatory outlook attracted only the most stout-hearted. It was at that sweet spot where first movers anticipate and capitalize on change that Zurich made its mark in North America. First-year sales figures blew past even the most optimistic projections, as Zurich quickly became a leader in workers' comp coverage. But it took more than guts, insight, and experience for Zurich's U.S. venture to pay off. It took a special class of people who could execute again and again for customers, communities, and America as a whole. People like Arthur Collins, August Tobler's number 2 in Zurich's newly established U.S. office. Collins' expertise and encyclopedic memory were legendary. A colleague once offered to bet that Collins could be locked in a bare room with nothing but blank paper and a pencil, and that he could write up in accurate detail any casualty policy you could name. There were no takers. During World War I, when support from Switzerland was often months in coming, Collins and his team aggressively drove the expansion of Zurich's network. Opening offices from coast to coast, they established Zurich's reputation for unparalleled customer service. Improving early automobile coverage and creating what is reportedly the first product liability policy written in the U.S. market, innovative risk management solutions became a core component of Zurich's American DNA that remains unchanged a century later. In the depths of the Great Depression, President Herbert Hoover proclaimed that prosperity is just around the corner. When FDR defeated Hoover in 1932, Arthur Collins' defiant rallying cry to Zurich employees was, "Prosperity is now." Having set the challenge, Collins turned over the reins to the next generation of Zurich people, to be led by Neville Pilling, who at 34 would be the youngest chief executive ever to serve as head of Zurich's U.S. business. Responding to New Deal initiatives to protect the American worker, Pilling's team leveraged Zurich's expertise in safety engineering with the Safety Zone Insurance Service, driving down workmen's compensation claims and sharply increasing workplace productivity. While this may have seemed counterintuitive to the rest of the insurance industry at a time of shuttered factories and an estimated 15 million Americans out of work, the move proved amazingly prescient a few years later when tens of thousands of workers, many of whom were women new to the industrial workforce, flocked to America's factory floors to meet the call for sharply increased World War II production and to replace workers leaving for the armed forces. Neville Pilling wrote that every business that benefits from the American way of life must accept its share of responsibility for preserving this system. By acting in the best interest of its customers, employees, and communities, Zurich would benefit for generations to come. By the time Neville Pilling retired in the mid-1960s, Zurich's North American operations had had only 2 chief executives in its history. The benefits that this continuity of leadership had to the management team and customers outlasted any single insurance cycle. And while the continuity may have given some the impression that things never changed at Zurich, nothing could have been further from the truth. In a string of strategic acquisitions, Zurich opportunistically enhanced its capabilities with the addition of like-minded companies recognized for product innovation and customer focus. When the heady growth of the 1980s and 90s gave way to the unprecedented challenges of the new millennium, Zurich had the basics to fall back on. The management team returned to Zurich's insurance roots and financial soundness. The Zurich Way was the unifying theme. And nowhere was Zurich more unified than in its response to Hurricane Katrina. Zurich people responded to their customers and community in an unmatched fashion. And their legendary commitment lives on today in the acclaimed Zurich Classic. So what does it take for a company to make it to a centennial in America? As Zurich's 100 years in America has demonstrated, it's about exceptional people making history each and every day. The world has changed dramatically. The pace of business is accelerating. Risks, known and unknown, are multiplying. But when it comes to helping our customers better understand and manage their risk, Zurich people will be at the forefront with the most innovative risk management solutions for the next 100 years.